Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry I could not be there, but hopefully this video will suffice for the presentation. My name is Kakuru Timothy, and I'm presenting on social media as a free access to legal information tool, the BarefootLaw experience. So social media refers to a combination of three elements, that is content, user communities, and web-based technologies. Social media platforms allow users to interact with each other through information that they post. Now, through the use of social media, BarefootLaw has managed to spread legal information. Legal information can be defined as consisting of laws, rules, case law, and legal literature. Now, legal information is very useful for any society and the people in that society. Without legal information, people do not know their rights. In such instances, you find that people are restrained from acting out their rights. And where people are restrained, then they cannot fully express themselves or fully exploit the resources available to them, which include, of course, the resource of the human brain. Legal information, therefore, is very crucial in the pursuit for access to justice. How is this so? Well, where a person knows their rights, knows their duties and responsibilities, and knows how to enforce all of them, then they will most likely know how to access justice where their rights are infringed upon. But where a person does not know anything about their rights, then they are less likely to pursue measures to enforce these rights being respected. Unfortunately, though, this is not the case. The average person has very limited legal information that usually revolves around the things they do on a day-to-day basis, if at all. And to make it worse, the average person does not know where to get this legal information when they need it. Legal information tends to be recorded in its original form in a very legalistic manner, using very strong legal terms and legal language, which of course includes a lot of Latin accents. And when this legal information is made public, it may not reach the average person in the way that it's supposed to. The average person may not understand it in the way that they would like to. This information may only, although made public, be of use to the lawyers or those learned in the law, which then defeats the whole purpose of making legal information public in the first place. And so with that in mind, the team at BarefootLaw realizes that, one, the public needs legal information, and two, the legal information that the public needs is different from the legal information that is availed to lawyers in the law books, in the statutes, and in the case law. One, of course, could ask, why should the public be availed with legal information if they are lawyers in the first place that can handle legal issues? Well, this is so that people know exactly when they need a lawyer and when they don't. This is so that people are aware of what a frivolous lawsuit is, so that they do not waste their time and money pursuing something that they will not win or they cannot win. This is so that people know exactly what they can and cannot do, both in the personal setting and also in the economic. So the question would be asked then, why utilize social media to give people legal information? Well, already we're well aware that there are so many other sources of legal information on the internet. In BarefootLaw's experience, utilizing social media to impart legal information is perhaps the best way of teaching people who do not have a background in legal knowledge. Well, this is because it not only allows BarefootLaw to put out the legal information in a simplified form, but it allows the public to interact with BarefootLaw and ask questions or make comments about the information that has just been imparted. This communication, this two-way communication, enables the team at BarefootLaw to further explain and increase the understanding of the ordinary person about very complex matters in the law. Furthermore, social media is a very informal setting, and it allows for a lot of interaction, which builds up a positive atmosphere in a learning environment. It allows for curiosity to take hold of people. It allows for people to take a great interest in matters that would otherwise be deemed boring or classroom setting oriented. And when people take interest in the law in this form, they actually take active steps to seek it out. We have people who have read a post about a part of the law and they ask us to avail them with that particular law so they can actually read the whole law. And this is something that would not ordinarily happen. Furthermore, the way the interactions are carried out tend to hint to Barefoot Law what topics are least understood in the law, or what parts of the law are most problematic to the public. For example, earlier this year, a couple of controversial bills had just been passed, and we got so many questions of people asking us what exactly these laws required them to do. Some people erroneously thought that the anti-pornography bill was a mandate for men to assault women who were dressed in a manner that was deemed indecent by some men. However, we explained to them that this would amount to criminal offenses under the law, and if caught, they could probably end up in prison. And we urged them not to do these things, not to take the law into their own hands, because that in itself is unlawful. When people are told of this, their mindset actually changes. And while their mindset is changing through the debates that are going on the Facebook page, you can see it. You can see a person come down and say, okay, maybe I'm wrong. And that inspires the Barefoot Law team and makes the team realize that what it's doing is really worthwhile and is having a real impact on the ground. In utilizing social media, Barefoot Law has got 3 platforms, that is Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. The different platforms are used in different ways to achieve the following objectives: to stimulate an interest in the law and rule of law, to educate on rights, duties, and responsibilities of individuals, and to provide consultations for those with actual legal concerns. And so the first platform that Barefoot Law has utilized is Facebook. And I'm just going to give you a brief run-through of what our Facebook page is like and how we utilize the resource that is Facebook.
So this is the Barefoot Law page. This is where it all began, and this is where the bulk of our communications take place. As you can see, over this past week we've had 255 page likes, a post reach of 13,000, 12 notifications, and this is just for today, 51 messages that have not yet been read or replied to. Our likes that well, 17,668. So what we do on Facebook, one of the things we do is that we post on the page, and these posts are in 3 categories. They are informational, that is, they educate, they give raw legal information. For example, this post here, posted 4 hours ago today, that is important advice for agreements and contracts. And what this information does is that we just try to tell people what their rights are, what their duties may be under the law, and what they can do if they're infringed. And we usually get quite a good feedback, you know, like right now it was posted 4 hours ago, but we have 2 shares, 24 likes, just a couple of comments, but it will, you know, 1,177 people reached already, and it will just keep growing, and it will bring up more conversation and feedback to what. Our second category of posts is to explain laws and to try to encourage the public to take interest in what the law actually is. As you can see with this post here, from the 28th of September, we always post about the Constitution, and we encourage people to buy the Constitution, you know, get it in hard copy, get it as a PDF. We have it available at our website, and we just try to ensure that as many people as possible get one. And you know, we always find that people are actually interested. For example, you know, this person here asking, you know, where can I buy one? They are actually interested, they just need to find out where they can get one. We also post information directly from statutes. For example, over here, this post was directly coming out of the Estates of Missing Persons Management Act, and we break down these laws so that people understand them without actually having to read the act. Now, of course, we're not giving the entire law in its in its detail, and we're not telling them that this is clear cut. We're just telling them that they have these rights and they have so many laws that handle their daily issues, that if they could take interest in these laws, then they would avoid so many challenges or problems that they would otherwise be facing. People were sharing it, 36 likes, over a lot of comments, 2,200 people reached, and really the feedback is quite amazing. A fourth reason we post on our wall is to entice debate and increasingly get people interested in the justice system in Uganda. And with this, we figure the more interest people have in the justice system of Uganda, the more trust they may put in it, or at least the more understanding they may get of it. For example, notorious cases such as this one murder case, which we followed and we posted updates on as the court was in session. We analyzed it and explained the way courts reason and the way they make their findings, so that people understand more about the justice system and what it aims to achieve. So as you can see with this post, there were 20 shares, 51 people liked it, a couple of comments, 6,000 people reached. When you have this much feedback, it shows you that there's so many people interested.
So the Barefoot Law inbox is a very busy place. We get between 50 and 70 inboxes every day from various people across the country, and their issues range from personal issues to business issues to issues of a friend or a relative who does not have access to Facebook. And what they do is that they ask us for advice, and in turn we give them advice. We also always encourage them to seek further legal advice so that they do not just rely on our information alone, especially when the matter is extremely serious. So the Facebook inbox advice that the Barefoot Law team gives is threefold. Sometimes it's just for the sake of explaining a principle to someone who is curious about it. Other times we give personal advice. For example, this one time a person who we shall not name, of course, he was asking us whether he can do anything to someone he caught with his girlfriend in a compromising situation. And of course we told him there's nothing you can do. And he said, what if I was married to her? And we still said, you know what? There's nothing you can actually do to that other person. When he reached us, he initially just wanted to inflict harm upon the other person, and he did not care what the outcomes were. But as we went on interacting with him, we agreed that it would probably be better for him to seek counseling and move on. And these are the kinds of scenarios that happen in everyday life. These are things that happen and people don't know where to turn and they don't know what to do. And sometimes people even think they are justified to attack or even kill someone who has done something of that sort to them.
And so here we have the BFL Twitter page. As we've already told you, it's something that we're still experimenting with, because as you know, the law is very verbose, and so with Twitter, when you're limited to the number of characters you can use, you have to try and figure out exactly what you're doing. And so what we're doing right now with Twitter is that we're using it to communicate, especially when it comes to cases as they're going on in court. We're also using it to just give little tidbits about the law. We tweet brief bits of information, usually encouraging people to stay on the right side of the law, or just informing them of peculiar parts of the law that they may not know. We try to bring awareness to human rights issues. So with just about 528 tweets, we have 362 followers. Our Twitter is still growing. And finally, we have our Barefoot Law YouTube channel. This is the latest addition to our social media reach, and on this we are going to be posting videos of particular parts of the law and uploading them so that people can watch and hopefully learn and then interact with us more about this law that we have posted on. So our only videos so far, interestingly enough, are the videos we have managed to gather from the LVI conference this year. We believe we're going to be posting a couple of posts a week, a couple of videos a week. Another important thing about YouTube is that video material has got a very long lifespan. It's not perishable. So where we make a video today, someone sees it in 2 or 3 years, it will still be relevant. They'll still be able to like it, they'll still be able to share it, and someone else will be able to watch it. Unlike other social media platforms where after a post has been up for about a week or so, it just disappears under all the other posts. And so YouTube is very important in that way, that the material doesn't actually perish. It remains online and can be accessed anytime.
So as Barefoot Law seeks to impart legal information, there are a lot of opportunities that we have discovered through utilizing social media. One of the opportunities is, of course, that Barefoot Law has gotten a wide range of interactions with people all over the country. We have managed to create a very detailed database of the challenges that face Ugandans, and also of the laws that Ugandans find most troubling, as well as what people know about the law and what they do not know about the law. Well, this is all speaking in general terms, of course. And so with this database, we can potentially, through, of course, partnerships, introduce programs that are very much focused on a needs basis. Furthermore, social media is a perfect source for information, especially when it comes to challenges facing a society. And so Barefoot Law is acting as a sort of feedback mechanism for what the lawmakers and the law enforcers are doing. The challenges that Barefoot Law is facing are quite a few. With the reach of Barefoot Law expanding every day, the requests for advice are increasing every day. But the Barefoot Law team, of course, which is made up of volunteers, remains the same. So the growing demand for information and advice has put quite a burden on the existing human resource of Barefoot Law, which means that there is a need to strengthen the capacity of the organization. And we're looking to the future for ways of partnering and funding for the organization so that it can keep up with the growing demand. In closing, therefore, social media is a very important tool for the Barefoot Law team in disseminating legal information. And at Barefoot Law, we believe that access to legal information is an essential part of access to justice. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimashita.